It's day 23. Day 23. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Day 23, ladies and gentlemen. Your boy done made it. It's your boy ObZ. Do it to life before life do it to you. We're going to do it to 2021. A whole year of breast cancer awareness and personal development. Guess what? See, I came up a little bit, right? Trying to save the environment. Still using all that paper. Well, I was using scrap paper anyway. But I use this. All I got to do now is just dry erase that. And guess what? You're probably thinking, why don't he just buy a little small dry erase board or something like that? His brain won't let me. It won't let me. It's a rule that I got set up for myself and that's what we're going to be looking at on Thursdays is the 4 agreements and trying to find out what kind of rules we have set up that's not helping us. They're rules. And so sometimes it's best to, get your team in place, somebody who doesn't have those rules. Like this one thing like this, like when I'm out shopping for, electronics or something like that, because that's my thing, right? I like electronics and then I'm trying to pick the best features and stuff like that. And sometimes I agonize over it. And so I let somebody else just buy it for me. Or sometimes you just get to a point you just say, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and get it. Or this is a funny thing. One of the best investments we had, no props, I'm getting money for this, was the new wave oven. I don't know how many of you guys had the new wave oven. Best thing since sliced bread, right? But they always had my kids loved it. They loved it cooking the pizzas. My son, he's a big pizza fanatic, cooking his pizzas and stuff in. They just loved it. It's a great product, except that the dome is always cracking. So after going through 2 or 3 domes, me and my wife came to the conclusion, we got a rule. We're not going to spend no more money on these domes. Even though it was a great product, but we wouldn't mind our kids doing it because they don't have that history. You see what I'm saying? They don't have that history. Sometimes we'll build a rule up inside of our minds that's a stronghold. In the Bible, they call it a stronghold. And we know that it's there, and it don't make sense if we still like the product. Why wouldn't you keep investing in it, right? Huh? You know? So I remember when it stopped, right? And we said we weren't gonna do it anymore. It stopped. And then my kids came in and saw that it was busted into pieces. They were like, Dad, what are we gonna do? What about our pizzas? What about our rolls that we normally cook? What about warming our food up? Because we don't use a microwave. My wife found out a couple of years ago that the microwave's not good for you, so we don't use a microwave. Hadn't had a microwave, so we've been using direct heat. So my son said, "What we gonna do?" I said, "We're gonna use that thing right there." I pointed to the stove, the conventional stove, and I say, "That does that thing even work?" I said, "Yeah, it worked. You turn it on, we just hadn't been using it for 2 years." For any kind of food, and they didn't even think that it would work. But we used it for a short period of time, but they gave in. We ended up going with one of these air fryers or something like that. But we still missed the new wave. It's not as good as the new wave, but we had this stronghold in our mind. And through this series, y'all gonna see it's just me trying to break down some of these strongholds, just trying to break them down and become aware of them and work through them. It's just I know how, because I've read a bunch of books. Everybody know how. We can Google it. That's part of our thing. And then we can ask people, but putting it into practice is something different. It's something different. What's easy for me may be tough for you. What's hard for me may be easy for you. But the thing I want to talk about today is the one thing. You know, that's part of the one thing. And that may be your one thing. He said in the book, if you don't know what your one thing is, then that is your one thing, is to find out and drill and question until you find what your one thing is. Okay? So yesterday he was talking, on Mondays now they had a One Thing podcast. I suggest you guys subscribe to it. I listen to it every single Monday. Don't miss a Monday. Just trying to build another little small habit, which is a good habit. You see what I'm saying? Another good podcast is Dave Ramsey Entree Leaders, because they're interviewing people that may be on the level we're trying to get to. And mostly that's what it is. They're on the level we're trying to get to, but they have challenges as well too. It's not all roses on that side, so it's good to get to hear them talk and stuff like that. What he was talking about, really the one thing, which is he worked with corporate America and teach these. He said he called it the coaching way versus leadership way, something like that, about being a leader. You can be a leader by telling or he's saying you should be more of a coaching style, which is asking questions. And one of the questions that stood out the most to me, he said, when you're having a conversation, because it should apply anywhere, not just to business, not just to finance. These should apply anywhere as long as we're on this planet, right? And probably in this whole universe, because that's the way things are. If you see something right here, you normally can probably transplant it over pretty easy, right? Most of the time. But anyway, he said that when you're having a discussion with somebody as far as a collaboration, you may want to, he asked the question, what question should I be asking you? I like that. I like that a whole lot. I'm going to use that for the rest of this week when talking to my kids, when talking to my clients, when talking to my wife. I'm going to ask her, what question should I be asking you? I like that. Yeah. I want to share that with y'all. This is another thing I wanted to point out too. Stephen Covey said that if you want this transformation to work even quicker, and I know you guys, y'all want it quicker. Y'all probably still got the microwaves at home, right? Y'all not worried about the new wave oven and stuff like that. Man, that new wave was tight. That may be one of my things, to break that stronghold. I'm gonna do it. You see that say do it to life? I'm gonna do it to my mental life. I'm gonna buy another dome for that new wave oven. To break that stronghold. Because it don't make sense, right? I'm gonna buy another new wave oven and break that stronghold just to do it. But anyway, but back to what I was saying, right? So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that for the rest of the week. But he said that Stephen Covey said that in order to learn something faster is to teach it, is to share it. So the challenge on you now. They tell somebody. I hear people tell somebody, tell them to subscribe, tell them to push that button, tell them to like this channel. Yeah, do all that stuff. Pass the word around, retweet this, do all that stuff. But I want you to do it verbally. Because now if you know you're going to be sharing this with somebody, that, guess what? I believe this. Everything that comes to you is not for you. In the Bible, when Jesus fed the 5,000, they say there was an excess of food left after everybody was full, like 12 or 5 or 8 baskets full of food. And God is not wasteful, so there's a purpose for the excess. Maybe it went to the charity, which we doing, right? We're going to raise some money for charity as well, too. A lot of money, right? Or maybe it went to the needy. Maybe it went to widows. He had a purpose for that. So it's a purpose for the excess. So if you get more than your share, then it means you need to share. You see what I'm saying? Should I put that on a t-shirt? If you get more than your share, then that means you need to share. And so if you got a nugget, and you say, that ain't for me, but I think so-and-so could use that. Not that I'm going to take this and ram it down so-and-so's throat. Not that I'm going to take it and say, hey, you need to listen to this, which you could do that, right? But you want to be able to preface that with in a way that you can introduce it to them. Because I was telling a girl like this the other day, because I did on the one thing, since we're talking about the one thing today, I did go back to the onething.com with the #1 URL. They're not paying me for anything. This is just a free resource. All right. Excuse me. And then what you want to do, it's kind of chilly out here. It's actually freezing. We got first frozen day, but I'm out here, so I'm going to have to get me some gloves. But you want to go there. I downloaded the GPS. And the GPS is set your goal, your one thing that you want to do, for the next year. And it gives you 3 things as far as priorities. 1, 2, 3. And then you got to come up with 5 strategies for each priority to get towards that one thing. So that's 15 strategies. I don't know. We don't do that. Most people don't do that. They don't sit down and come up with 15 strategies with the people that's not on the level that they're 15 strategies to get to the next level. Maybe I should put it like that. And that's what he's saying. 15 strategies to get to the next level. So go there, download that. I downloaded mine. I passed it out to everybody at work. Of course, I know everybody was looking at, man, you passing this thing out, blah, blah, blah. But then I passed it out to a girl, and she was like, well, I was trying to teach this to my daughter, but sometimes people don't listen. I said, look, that's your ego. Your ego always wants results. Another one of my favorite Bible verses, and we mentioned that, it says, he who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is not fit for the kingdom. Because if you look at this farming guy, if he plowing and looking back, then what's going to happen to his roads? His roads going to be crooked. It's like driving in your car. You drive in your car, and if you looking back by driving forward, you're going to crash into a ditch. But you got people that's like that, me included, that in sometimes I'm looking back for those results. And as I'm looking at those results, guess what? I veer off course. He said in the kingdom, we just lay it down and keep trucking because we have faith that what we laid down going to come to pass. What we laid down going to be fruitful because the farmer don't put one seed in the ground. Like you said, I'm going to help this person on one person. They staring in their face, they're seeing if they change, and then they don't do it. Then when they don't change, they say, yeah, this little worksheet I pass out don't work. So I'm going to stop doing it. But I say, just keep sowing. I pass it out to everybody. They may throw it in the garbage. I gave it to my kids, and those ones I normally want to watch, I saw it laying on the table, and I said to myself, well, you told her, don't even look at it. I don't care if they fill it out. Well, I do care, but I got to keep sowing. Don't let your sowing stop because you're looking for results right now. In the natural, you wouldn't expect them, but we put those pressures on ourselves. So that's where we at. This your boy ObZ. Do it to life before life do it to you. Do it to 2021. Guess what? Peace out.